Welcome back to the Unintangibles. If you saw yesterday's video, you watched us comparing maybe the 1 and 2 waiver wire ads this week, Jalen Samuels and Justin Jackson. And so we are going to weigh in right now on Justin Jackson, who had a great game in Pittsburgh. I believe he carried the ball 8 times for 63 yards, looked very good doing it. He had a touchdown. He showed power. He showed acceleration. One thing we don't know is Melvin Gordon, if he's going to be back. We do know that Austin Ekeler didn't look great in that first and second down role. I believe he's more of a complimentary player, kind of a Danny Woodhead type. We found out yesterday that he had the same college coach as Danny Woodhead. So, Mo, what do you think of Justin Jackson just from what you saw? And, you know, they're playing the Bengals at home next week. That sounds nice. And give me your take and the latest on what you think the LA Charger running back situation looks like.
I think overall it'll be about as effective as we thought it would be, except the roles are reversed. Because, like, you know, I think we were talking about it as far as like Ekeler being promoted and then Jackson getting to take over Eckler's sort of not role but like production level, let's say. But it turns out it's like, oh no, Jackson is the backup to Gordon, and Ekeler maybe should go back to being Ekeler, you know? And that includes, you know, I think because he caught a few passes last night, but it didn't seem like it was for many yards. And like, I think, you know, like there are more dynamic plays to get him the ball as a receiver out there, and having him on special teams again, I think would be good for him. And probably is like, I think Ekeler doing what he normally does and being on special teams gives him more touchdown potential than Ekeler replacing Melvin Gordon. And I think Jackson is not Gordon, but, you know, I think he can be what you want in Melvin Gordon's handcuff, you know? So I think it's pretty good. I think we just had it backwards. We thought it would be next man up, but it's like, you know, they're two different roles, you know?
Yeah, I think so. And I think Ekeler also, like, I didn't watch a ton. I haven't watched Charger games all year, but I have seen a fair amount of the Chargers. And I feel like Eckler's the guy, obviously a kind of a change of pace guy, but he's also, I feel like he was the kind of not the closer, but I feel like he touched the ball more in second halves of games when teams were already a little more worn down and they were just happy that Gordon wasn't on the field, maybe. And Ekeler, you know, he's like, he's got that burst. He's got, you know, he's a physical runner. He kind of runs a little crazy. And he's definitely good out of the backfield too, catching the ball. But I think you're right. I think we probably may have had it wrong. I mean, Jackson looks like he's physically, he can dominate a little bit too. And he seems like, you know, he's that 7th round running back that was drafted late in the draft and needs to prove himself. And next week, you know, without going too deep into the matchup, the Bengals don't look like they're going to have AJ Green. We've already discussed how they're one of the 2 or 3 doormats of the league. Going on the road, nothing to play for. Even if, I mean, which is why I think they're going to hold out Gordon for 1 more week. And even if it's a committee, I think Jackson is still going to get his. I think that's going to be a double-digit victory next week, just based on my Monday morning prediction. But
yeah, like just like we've been talking about with the Pittsburgh running backs, is like there's some baseline value in just being the running back in a good offense if you're competent and do everything well, you know. And if that's all Jackson is, that's still pretty good because the Chargers are a good offense. And maybe there's potential that he gets hot. And if the Chargers can get hot, and, I mean, they're pretty hot, I guess. They're 9-3 now, but yeah, man, if they can keep it rolling, then that's pretty lucrative.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And we decided that Justin Jackson, we believe on Monday morning, early in the morning, that Justin Jackson will be the hotter waiver wire ad than Jalen Samuels. So
I'd say he should be. Yeah.
I agree too. I think
there's another guy that I think not on the level of Justin Jackson, but as far as handcuff running backs or just guys who've taken over the role because a lead back is injured. I don't know how he manages to do it every year, but LeGarrette Blount once again is in a position where it's like he's He's pretty good. He's pretty effective from a fantasy perspective. You know what I mean?
What was his line yesterday, Mo? Can you give us a stat line? Because I know that Carry-On didn't play. I was watching Red Zone, so I saw Theo Riddick make a couple actually really nice plays.
Yeah, I mean Riddick is pretty good. No, it's he's not going away or anything. Let me find it.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about
He played the Rams, right? So it wasn't great, but like, yeah, he was 16 for 61, and it's like
against the Rams.
against the Rams, that's not terrible. And like, on a better day for the Lions, maybe he gets a touchdown, or whatever. It's like, yeah, he's not Justin Jackson. If like Justin Jackson inherits the Chargers running back spot, for a while, then like that's coveted, right? And this week, you'd rather have Justin Jackson, make him first. But like, if you suddenly find yourself needing a running back because they keep punching and kicking people and becoming unavailable, then like, yeah, LeGarrette Blount, man. I hate to say it. No, I hate to say it, but like I'm surprised to say it. LeGarrette Blount once again. I mean, the only difference is he's done this before, but he's done this before on good teams, right? And I don't know. I don't think Detroit's going to be a particularly good team down the stretch. But like he'll still get his as long as it's him and not Carry-On. But like, yeah, if Carry-On's not playing again this week, like.
So they're playing in Arizona. They're playing the Cardinals in Arizona in Week 14.
Yeah.
Let me give you a this or that kind of situation. Who would you rather have here? LeGarrette Blount against the Cardinals or Jordan Howard next week? He is playing, I believe, he's not playing the Rams. Sorry. He's playing. Let me find out who the Bears are playing. But just based on that, just based on those two dudes, what you see, who would you rather have?
Jordan Howard, man, that's tough. I really don't know what to do about Jordan Howard. Chicago's playing the Rams, by the way, so
they are playing the Rams. Okay, right.
Yeah, I think I might go with Blount, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe it, but he's effective. I'm not saying he's great, but like he does this all the time. It seems like he's built for December football,
Would you rather have LeGarrette Blount or Gus Edwards now, whose role may be diminishing?
Oh, why? Because Dixon's back?
Because Dixon's back and because Lamar Jackson may or may not have the role that he had this past week. So
he got hurt. He got a concussion, which is unfortunate. Hope he
so Blount
didn't have to do much from what I saw.
Ravens against the Chiefs
do much because they're playing the sorry Falcons.
Yeah.
But
so they're in Kansas City next week.
Yeah, no, I like Gus Edwards, I think, ahead of okay, if I had a choice just for week 14, I might pick Jackson over Edwards. I might, but like I might not. And I think like with Edwards, as long as he stays healthy, like I think with Edwards, if you found a guy, you have a guy for the rest of the season. Yeah. Whereas Jackson, Blount, Samuels, these are week 14 only right now. And I hope to not need them beyond that. But like Edwards is a guy that I view as like a rest of season guy.
Any other one-dimensional bowling ball running backs that we could compare with Blount and Howard and Edwards? I'm trying to think of some other because it's obviously it's the playoffs next week, so it's a do or die situation.
I think the difference is. So the difference with Blount is, like I said, I think Blount has a history of playing well this time of year, usually on contenders. So I don't know how it'll be different this time, but he plays hard no matter what. I think the difference and then with Edwards, it's like, even if he's just a guy, right place at the right time, but like it is the right place at the right time. He's on a contending team, and like we said, Pittsburgh's having a wobble. So this is Baltimore's chance to take him over. So to recap, Justin Jackson, pretty good option if you need a week 14 starter. LeGarrette Blount, surprisingly acceptable option if you need a week 14 starter. Jalen Samuels, shaky option if you need a week 14 starter. Gus Edwards, maybe you don't like him as much this week as Justin Jackson, but Gus Edwards I think is a rest of the season starter. And even better than him though is a guy that I think it's time to, I just have not respected enough, but it's time to give him his due. Not only is he a rest of season starter, potential league winner, and maybe he has been all season, but Philip Lindsay. We're going to talk more about Philip Lindsay on the next show. So join us for that. Take care.